Oh, welcome back to Geekshow Helpdesk.
Why, hello, everybody.
Not
Hello.
talking from a can today.
You're back from Tatooine. That was
Back from
some fast
Tatooine.
light travel, Tony.
Yep. Just a couple of parsecs away. Is
Yep.
You should tell us about that in between.
I just might. Now, this is the Geek Show Help Desk, where we talk about tech gadgets and other sciencey related things. But before we get started, let's introduce our panelists. We got not Jaren over here. It's Lando.
Hey, it's Lando, also known as Not Jaren. Jaren's ditched us tonight, and it's fine. We will have a great show. Nay, dare I say, a better show without him.
Does it sound less bitter in here? Does the air taste a little sweeter?
Yeah, I get just
May-
the
mayhaps?
aura, the feng shui of the show. Tasty.
The
That's me.
clouds
I'm Lando.
parted and there was sun.
Darren can
you
feel.
go.
Darren can feel that.
He's
he
gonna
knows.
feel it when he listens.
He
to
knows right now. His
I felt
something. Yeah.
it. Hey, it's Lang. His name also starts with an L.
I'm back. I'm kind of like what was her name? Kimmy on Full House that just showed up out of the blue for weird, awkward reasons.
Kimmy
That's
Gibbler.
this guy.
That's a
Thank
good
you,
joke.
the Gibbler. I am the Gibbler of the Geek Show Help Desk right here.
You know, always the best episodes, though.
Isn't there a way to change his headline?
we
They
can
usually have to
change.
deal with, male anatomy. So, come find me on Instagram. That's really all I do.
The
Gunpla
Gibbler.
_Skyfire if you want to chat with me. Like I've said before, my Facebook is for my mom and kid photos. So don't go there.
Boom. There it is. And we got the vanilla bass, Mr. Owen himself.
Coming in hot tonight. I have to.
Not so vanilla, more like the
I
spicy
was-
bass.
Mixed up the Tabasco sauce in the vanilla. Took it out on Lando a little bit. Lando, I publicly apologize.
Oh, thank you. It's okay.
You don't
you
need
can,
to.
Told you how to make it up to me.
You don't
You
need to.
did.
He was being a jerk to you first.
So anyway, that's you mean you're gonna get a spicy version of me probably. I'm already worked up, but I'm also really exhausted. So I don't know what's coming out today,
Ho.
but this is where you're gonna get me, and you'll also get our host here. His name's Tony.
That's me. Check me out on Twitter at
Hey.
QuadTTony or on the other Geek Show podcasts. I was actually on the Space Show this week for a little bit too.
How was that? I need
Space
to get
Show
in.
show's awesome.
I need
Everyone
to
should
watch.
check
I
that
need
out.
to listen to that.
Yep.
What was
check
the
it
It's
out.
on my
topic?
to-do list.
Yep, Rebecca does a great job hosting that, and it's a good time.
She's
thought you were
consistent.
gonna-
I like her stuff.
Were you going to go back for Battlestar? What was the
Battlestar's
topic?
way down the line, so she's doing all the Star Treks first,
Cool.
and we're only in Next Gen, so you still got Next Gen movies: Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Strange New Worlds, Discovery, all the
Lower
other
Decks.
movies. Yeah, Lower Decks. Oh man, I just caught up on Lower Decks today. I watched the last
It's
episode
so
of season
good.
4.
It's so
Freaking
good.
I just gonna tell you this right
fantastic.
now: the Lower Decks and Discovery crossover, or
So
Strange
good.
New Worlds. Is it
Strange
Strange
New
New
So
Worlds,
Worlds?
yeah.
good.
Oh,
It's
that
fantastic.
that was one of the best episodes I've ever seen of Star Trek ever, hands down.
Agreed.
All right, let's kick it off with any. Did anyone look and see if we have emails? Because Jaren's not here.
No.
I don't have that. I've never
Sorry, I
once
didn't
logged
write
into the
anything.
new emails. I can get into the old one. Let's
know
go check
what?
the old one. You know what?
If you want to, but I think I have quick access to
Okay.
the
Yeah, you
Geek Show Help Desk emails right here. Let's see if we got anything. Nope, we're good. Last
Perfect.
email was July 1st. So if you do
And,
want
and
to
Lang
email
Lang
us,
is here
though,
in person, so
Yeah,
no
it's
emails
like a-
from Lang.
it's like a live email right there.
Boom.
If you do want to email us, though, geekshowhelpdesk@gmail.com. Drop us a line there if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or just general nonsense. We'll check it out. Maybe if we like it, or we can answer it, then we'll read it. If we
Has
can't
there
answer
ever been
it,
an email we haven't read?
no, there hasn't. I don't think so, anyway.
He says that, and there's like a folder special, like Lang special letters. He filters those.
Lang/ignore.
the Lang diaries.
Straight
we
to
don't
space.
read them all. We don't read them all. We can't read all of the Langs.
World's not
Those are
ready
the-
for all of them.
are sad letters.
Sometimes he just stays up late writing stuff like. Today,
You know what I think?
Today I painted a.
You want to know what made the show better, guys? Do this.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Yeah. You know what really grinds my gears? Today on Gunpla Skyfire, I painted something.
It did. It did.
Anyway,
Paint didn't mix quite right. Now I'm angry.
yeah.
Oh, speaking of painting fun stuff, I'm going to
Oh,
bring
no.
something up later for
All right.
you, Owen.
Oh, good. Then.
Ooh.
All right, you know what? We've been talking about sci-fi stuff. Let's keep that ball rolling. Lisan Al-Gaib. We have some Dune-related technology here. There is a company out there that is working on creating basically a real-life version of the still suit that they use in Dune.
Hold on. Explain. As someone who's never seen Dune,
You haven't
must
seen
explain this
Dune?
to me. I have not.
Judas Priest.
They live on a desert. There's
Those-
absolutely no moisture. Let me just get to the basis of the suit. It recycles everything so that you use as little water
You
as
retain
possible.
99.8% of your moisture.
Yeah.
Whether you lose it through sweat, urine, whatever. It even has a breathing tube so that
Yeah.
it captures the moisture in your breath. I believe they specifically say that if the still suit is used correctly, you will lose less than a thimble of water from your body a day.
That's how precious water is
Yeah.
out there.
So there is a company out there that is working toward. Did I say a company? It's scientists at Weill Cornell Medicine and Cornell University. There we
They're
go.
doctors. They got suits on, right?
They got PhDs and whatnot.
Yeah. You can totally see that their lab coats are on there.
They want to build it for NASA because the NASA spacesuit right now hasn't been really updated since the 70s. They've just been making the same version of the suit since the 1970s and haven't really done anything.
Is that render what they're looking at? Because that's way less cool than the
Oh.
still suit.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that exactly, but that just looks like a big square backpack with the
We're calling it a still suit, but can't all be gold.
just a box. But basically, yeah, they want to create these. They're working towards having a vacuum based, like a vacuum proof suit for space use, so that way the astronauts, when they go on spacewalks, don't have to worry about having to go back and go to the bathroom or filling up their suit with sweat and whatnot like that.
Oh, I can't wait for the first test of this, and they get to quote Dumb and Dumber. And he's like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and there's like,
Just go, man.
just go, man, just
Oh,
go.
It's kind of
Like if somebody doesn't quote that when this is getting tested, like wherever they're testing it,
yeah.
oh, that's
Well,
a
and
missed opportunity.
Apparently, the outdated waste system on the old suits have led to several hygiene and medical issues for astronauts,
no.
like UTIs, gastrointestinal problems, etc.
Ugh.
Ugh.
So
They
this
actually
is- this
do,
is
right?
needed.
That's the dirty part of spacewalks,
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
they don't talk about that much. Like they're told they just go.
the way
right?
they wear a diaper, basically.
Yeah.
They wear a NASA diaper and they just go. So this would
That's not glamorous.
this would
NASA
take
diaper.
care of that, and they say it will have a vacuum-based external catheter leading to a combined forward-reverse osmosis unit.
Catheter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
There's-
I don't know.
external.
Oh,
external
external.
catheter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do any spacewalks anymore all of a sudden.
Doesn't go inside. No. Although, I mean, if you're into that, whatever, that's fine.
Hey, yeah, cool.
I'm not going to judge.
Oh, I have made a mistakey. I googled NASA diaper, and
Nope,
I wish
I
I
was
would
gonna say.
never would have done that.
You
About-
fool!
In
You
20
look
years,
behind
they're
the
gonna
curtain,
have-
man. You
We're
don't
gonna have YouTube videos, Suit Fails, Volume 2.
No.
you don't ever look into the sausage grinder to see how it's made.
You don't want to know what goes in there. Yeah.
Or came
So-
out of there for that matter.
I
Exactly.
have made a mistakey.
So there you go. They're working on that, and I hope it goes well because the suit is badly in need of being updated, and this would be
Was-
a great.
Wasn't SpaceX
addition.
working on one too? Are they under contract to get a new spacesuit? I know that Elon Musk came out and said he was modeling it after Marvel costumes and
Musk.
and trying to get some PR. I know that there was a spacesuit that SpaceX was working
Yeah,
on.
they're probably. I think I read that too, but they're not going for anything as cool as like, reverse osmosis
Yeah.
recycling.
I
and
think
stuff.
it's
There's
probably
a pro-
internal, like launch suit.
That's
right?
what I'm
Like,
thinking. Theirs
yeah.
isn't for spacewalking.
Not an
is
EV.
from
What do
I
they call
saw,
those?
yeah.
EVA?
Extravehicular, whatever. Anyway, there you go. Looks pretty cool. We'll keep an eye on that, see how it develops. Let's talk about what is this Zuckerman versus Zuckerberg?
Oh, this is so good. So, I couldn't believe the name. So this story, oh my gosh, it is way too long for me. I mean, you're like,
Just
oh,
give us
read
the
the
Cliff
third
Notes
paragraph. This is like
Well,
20 or 30 paragraphs.
It's
Anyway,
Ars Technica, and sometimes they do
And they
super long stories.
they went in depth. I appreciate the reporting because it acts, at first I was like, oh, interesting. I'll cliff notes this. And then I started reading. I'm like, oh, this is long. And then ADHD kicked in and was like, the dopamine's gone, guy. So what are you
Better move on to
doing?
the next thing.
But then I saw the guy's name was Zuckerman. And I was like, wait, his name's Zuckerman. He's having a problem with Meta, which is Zuckerberg. Well, that's kind of funny.
Dopamine back, baby.
So dopamine's like, oh, we got another drip for you. Squeeze another drop out here. Let's read the rest of it. So this guy, I don't know if you ever remember this thing called Unfollow Everything. It's an app. It's a browser plugin that you could do that basically hacked into your Facebook and unfollowed all the things the algorithm was just gluing to you based on preferences, right? Like the AI sees you and then it starts putting crap in your feed. Well, this Unfollow Me was a browser extension that you log into, obviously, then you give it permissions based on blah, blah, your Facebook account, and then it starts doing that. Well, this guy, Zuckerman, he went to court, Mr. Ethan Zuckerman, he went to court to get pre-protection. He went to court saying, look,
He's like,
I
know they're
have
gonna sue me
worked-
for this.
I have worked on Unfollow Everything version 2. 2.0. And I would like to come here and get the court's approval to move forward with launching this and developing this, but I need the protection of the court because Meta can crush me, which they absolutely can. And with Meta 1.0, this guy knows he is not the lead dev that created 1.0. He's picking up the work. He's like, that guy received a cease and desist. So he wants to come in here and he wants to say, I want to do this, but I want protection from Meta coming after me legally before I do anything. While that's a noble idea, and that's really great, and I can see where he's coming from, because they absolutely, in the article, are going to crush him. In no uncertain terms, the way they are asking for his case to be absolutely dismissed on one major thing. The app doesn't exist yet, so how can you, like... But as soon as it does... Like,
Well, and they don't even have to win. They just throw money at the case to prolong it to the point
just
where the
prolong
guy
it till
runs out
he
of money
can't.
and
Yep, till he's
can't do
crushed, right?
anything.
And
Yep.
so he wants protections stopping that. And they talk. He goes through and makes his case. He cites Section 230, First Amendment stuff. How, as part of Section 230, which is actually kind of bad for society because it allows social media platforms protection against what is said and done on their platform. They don't have to be liable. But on the other hand, it allows people the freedom of speech to do or say whatever they want on their platforms, right?
It's a
The guy
double-edged
tried to,
sword,
he tried to argue that this, allowing me and others the freedom of developing something that helps me control what I see on my Facebook feed is my legal right under Section 230. And again, they just kept throwing the lawyers for Meta, like,
Of course.
you listen, as you read through this, you're like, well, I mean, I've watched enough episodes of Suits to know that they would have won. So, like,
Love that show.
and so, but his name's Zuckerman, and he's going against Facebook, which is Zuckerberg. They're going to crush him. They basically say so in no uncertain terms, basically saying, how can you even tell that we're going to do anything? We don't even know how this works. So until it's out in the wild, and he's like, I don't want to release it out in the wild because you'll sue me. I want protection against that. And they're like, well, I mean,
Chicken
life's
or
about
egg at this
choice, right? I mean,
Life's about choices.
Life's about choices. You always have a choice to do what you want. But their argument is, and they even say this, hey, look, Unfollow Everything 2.0 works exactly the same as 1.0. And you already sent a cease and desist and took legal action against that person as well. And they're like, we didn't do a cease and desist and take that guy to court. We gave him a notice and he settled out.
I wonder how much they paid him.
I don't know.
I hope
but
they paid him because you know,
that data's their baby. Data's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg made the case that that's what Facebook was. When Facebook was free in 2008, it went public. They were like, "What's your profit? Like, what's your
data?
What
baby.
are you? What's your like?" Data wasn't even as big of a thing back then. Like it was for marketers and stuff, like hot list, cold list, like that kind of stuff. But data, like digital data and stuff, people were just starting to scratch in on that. And anyway, so I don't know. I don't think that unfollow everything's going to survive. And we'll have to see if this guy is brave enough. Like, he ran the risk of trying to come get it legalized in court to get like a blessing, and I think he did that for capitalistic reasons. I think he wanted to get the credit, maybe get another settlement like they did with that guy. But on the other hand, because he outed himself as the developer working on it, he can't just go leak it now to somewhere and let it be free. You know,
that's true because like,
he's
this was you.
Yeah, and exactly. Like, hey, this got out. Oh yeah, I guess a lot of people stealing stuff around here.
Compromise.
So anyway, he says he has a team of engineers and devs ready to code this and start, but he can't do it until he gets legal protection for them and himself.
I got a question for the panel now that after you're talking about this, Owen, it took me back because I was extremely late to the social media game. If everybody on here, we'll say that for another time, Linda. I was not that lucky. If you could clear every single one of your social media algorithms right now and start fresh without even having to do anything, would you do it on all your platforms right now? Would you?
I don't think
because
so. I feel like my algorithm
absolutely.
it tells me the stuff that I'm already interested in anyway. It's kind of been curated by now.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I like the algorithm I have. If I could wipe my data from their systems,
that'd be a different
that's
story.
the trade-off, right? Like if I could have this tuned, curated algorithm,
thing
but
is,
them
it's
not
just
having
gonna
anything
start
on
over.
me. Yeah, true.
Yeah,
But they've got 20 years of data on me, almost 20 years of data, 15 years of data on me right now. You know,
sure,
it's like,
but if you clear it, they don't have that data anymore.
they do.
Like for
they,
me,
no, you're right.
In the
Not if they clear
hypothetical
everything.
situation.
If you clear if you clear your algorithm, that's different than like clearing, like doing a
no,
request
I'm
for
just
privacy
hypothetical
deletion.
Clear everything.
Don't
like
worry
send
about the
them
hows. Don't worry about
send
the
them-
hows.
yeah,
Owen.
just clearing it.
It works.
Yeah.
You know.
See,
I
'cause
would.
For me,
I totally would, because
would?
I could always recreate the algorithm and be more careful now
you
that I
have
know how to
start
use.
over though.
But
So
now that I know how to
so-
use the algorithm, before it was just kind of random. I just said, "Oh, yes, no, yes, no." Now social media has evolved much farther than it was when it
'cause-
started. So I would not have tried to
No, here's
win
the
that
thing.
free T-shirt. I would
Here's
not
where
have
you're-
tried to,
Yes,
you
you
know,
would.
like
Come
whatever.
on now.
Yeah, totally. I totally.
I'm gonna
Here's-
pose it because let me just jump in because like I
Yep.
said, I was late to the game and it was 2016 when I actually started my own Facebook. And the two things that happened were, one, people were just like, "Oh my gosh, you're not dead. That's great." Were the first thing. And the second thing, when I was putting, like, I think it was Pinterest of all places, I put in I like comics, I like video games, and I'm single. And those three things, it was like, "Oh, you must like Asian singles then." It's like, this
Wait,
is not
what?
the algorithm I want then.
It's because you're a little baby as far as the algorithm's concerned. It's like, oh, it's
I was a
little
baby. I was
Let's see
a
if
baby.
it likes. Let's see if it likes sweet potatoes. It does not. Okay.
So yeah, it's like after having that experience being late to the game, like Tony, I'm very much like, even though this guy is doing a 2.0, I don't think it's worth it. Like, I think
You
it's
don't think to
curated and
what?
I have my data
Ugh,
to
yeah.
clear it.
And the thing
If I could request the deletion and they would kill all of everything they have on me, then yeah. But we don't have those privacy laws here. The EU has those.
Yeah.
But
the other
we-
thing you got to consider too is the way the data is gathered is way more subtle and advanced now than it was
That's true.
10 or 15 years
Yeah.
ago. Now it knows how long you looked at a certain thing.
Yeah. It's checking your irises.
Even if you didn't, it's not checking your irises, Owen. But even if you didn't like it or share it, it knows that you paused on that
For
part of
longer
your time
than
for
another
longer
one.
than another one. And so it's like, okay, more of that stuff.
Yep.
You know,
Rot
That's
Dog
true.
Owen on Instagram
Yeah.
waited for 3 seconds on
Yeah.
a piece of a Ruby picture.
Like once they have you, right, they're only comparing you to you. So any aberration
Yeah.
in you is what they're like, why? Why did he go 13 and a half seconds here and only 10 seconds on the other ones?
Gunpla
Flood him, hit him.
stopped for an extra 5 seconds on this Asian single. He
He
must
is
like
into Asians.
singles.
Asian singles. We got him. And the algorithm pats itself on the back and goes, "We are so good." Like it's the robot from Rick and Morty. I am so good.
the butter robot.
Yeah, the butter robot.
Interesting. All right. Well, there you go. Maybe we'll see the 2.0. What is it?
Maybe we'll. I don't know. I don't
Or
know if
not.
we will. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna
Unfollow
see it or
everything, that's what it's
unfollow. It's unfollow everything. I don't know if we'll see it. He wants protection. I think he's outed.
Yeah,
I think
we
he's shown his
probably-
hand.
Yeah, we probably won't see it.
Yeah.
All right. Let us dive into the horrors of last week.
Oh
with
my
the-
gosh.
The IT horror that was the CrowdStrike.
I'm ready.
Problems.
Let me gather around you, children.
How did
Let me
you?
tell you a
How
story.
did your day start? Early Friday.
So
You
it was a
came-
Thursday. It was a Thursday night,
It was a
and
Thursday.
you know, I go to bed about 11 o'clock. So 11 p.m. Thursday night.
Friday
I'm having a hard time
morning.
sleeping. I'm tossing, I'm turning. I'm like, you know what? I'm bothering
Yeah.
my wife,
You're no.
and I made a choice, and it turned out to be a good choice this night to go sleep on the couch, to where I could put on a TV show and fall asleep. So right around midnight 30, I finally fall asleep, and at 1 a.m. I am greeted by an alarm on my phone.
all the alarms, right?
No, just one alarm.
Oh, okay.
I luckily, for those of you who don't know, I am the director of IT operations for Utah Valley University. And we do have an on-call rotation for our full-time employees, and luckily it was not my turn.
Oh.
But we do have a thing where if you need to escalate to me
Yep,
as the director,
escalation. Yep.
we use an application called Opsgenie. You can send an alert right to my phone, and if you've ever used an application such as this, like there's a way it gets past Do Not Disturb, it gets past everything. Like you can get me no matter what, basically. So 1 a.m., one of my employees escalates to me, sends me an alert basically saying, "I need your help," basically.
Hey, boss, everything is broken.
Well, and the thing is, like, so we have a policy right now. We only monitor overnight. We only monitor our department systems, and other departments monitor their systems. But just so happens we're over the monitoring systems. Like our systems monitor the other systems,
Yeah.
and so we have some monitoring probes that run
Cas-
on Windows. That's important.
Cascade. Yeah.
That my employee couldn't get back up, which is why he escalated. He's like, "I can't reach these things. I can't RDP to them." I'm like, "That's weird. What's going on?" And I try to get into vCenter to get in the remote console, and I can't log into vCenter. Like I can get to the login screen, but here's what the thing. So our security team has made our
Now,
Our
don't share.
VMs
Don't share more information.
no.
than
This
you
is
should.
fine. No.
Okay.
This is fine.
All
So
right.
because vCenter doesn't have native two-factor ability, so we put in a proxy server with Microsoft's two-factor, so that it has to, or not, I guess with their login, so that it's LDAP login, and we have a two-factor proxy server. So it doesn't tell you that you have to do two-factor, but everyone just knows that you're going to get a notification to do two-factor. Makes vCenter more secure. This is a good thing, right? So I try to log into vCenter.
yeah.
I'm not getting the
If it's
two-factor
Microsoft
push.
two-
Your
Two-factor,
radius
you have a
server, your
problem.
LDAP server is
The
tipped
proxy
over.
server that sends the Duo two-factor notification down. But at the time, like it's 20 in the morning, we're going, this is
What's
weird.
going
Like, what's
on?
going on?
Yeah.
And the two probes were monitoring our DMZ servers, which if you're a networking guy, you know the DMZ servers are like the more secure networks. So I'm like thinking, the network's down? Like what is going on? This is the
It's
weirdest
always
thing
the
in the world.
network.
And we thought for a minute it was DNS, and I mean this goes on
never
for 2
DNS.
hours. We wake up another employee on my team who manages the monitoring system, and we're all going, it's like, what is happening? We can access some of these monitoring systems, we can't access other ones. And then finally, this is the funniest part of the whole story. We had an employee that works on the sysadmin team. Just so happens he's out camping at a young men's camp off in who knows where. Has cell phone service, and is scrolling the news in the middle of the night and sees something
Wow.
about something. And he jumps on. It's like, hey guys, what's going on? We're like, we don't know what's happening. What are you doing? I just want to jump on and see what's going on. Okay, cool. Help us out. Like, we can't get to the server. Like, cool. Let me see if I can fix the proxy server. And then, like, an hour later, he finally mentions, like, oh, here's a bunch of news articles about this stuff.
You
And we're like,
waited an hour?
Yeah.
I mean, he's on vacation. He's on vacation. Give it
So
to
it
him.
wasn't until about 3:30 that we knew kind of what was going on, because that's when the news story started to hit.
Yeah.
So those of you who don't know, this is that CrowdStrike outage that happened last week, and what happened was, CrowdStrike pushed an update, and I say that loosely because personally I'm not sure exactly that's what happened. Something happened.
They
One of their
broke the
definitions.
rule. Don't patch on Friday.
Yeah,
They
they
broke
pushed a
rule.
patch that essentially touched the Windows kernel that caused all Windows machines with CrowdStrike to blue screen.
I was unaware how embedded CrowdStrike
If
was.
it's touching the kernel, then it is
Like, well, also
all the
in
way
Microsoft's
down.
infrastructure systems, like how many people were using CrowdStrike as the add-in for the kernel protection and stuff that it does.
Well, the reason why we use CrowdStrike is because it plays really well with our data insurance company. Our data
Right.
insurance company is like, yeah, CrowdStrike,
EDR,
done.
right?
Easy peasy.
EDR, that's the thing.
Yep.
They present themselves as and they have a
So-
fantastic EDR solution.
Here's my question. In Windows systems, you usually have to allow or enable or accept updates that are pushed. Nobody in their right mind, especially in IT, lets Windows run its updates.
This wasn't a Windows
automatically.
update.
This is interesting.
So
This is an
that's-
interesting thing. This was
That's
not
my
what-
question: is what allows this thing to update whenever it wants?
And here's the thing: is it
how
wasn't
come
a
there's
security update. So there's two different types of updates. I'm coming to find out. So I'm still learning about this. So like I'm still in flux a little bit here. So don't quote this. But there's threat patches, which most people are.
Definitions, whatever.
Yeah, these are the definitions. Are like saying here's the security threats we should be watching out for.
Right.
Those are fast.
and-
Those are rapid. Those don't
Well,
touch
Very
the
small.
system.
They're very
And
small
not only that,
patches.
but most companies they're on what's called N-1. They're not on the latest ones. They're back one
before.
version
Yep.
in
Right.
case this happens. But this
Right.
wasn't one of those. This was like an
Okay.
application update itself. This was a definition file for the application
Yep.
that
Sys
updated
file.
that most people aren't even thinking about.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, in what world would you let an application update whenever it wants? Like, even if it's a
Here's the
security
thing:
application.
CrowdStrike got the permission for Windows to work that closely with the kernel,
Right.
to
it's-
get that protection level where to prevent that. What were those big on the die attacks that would happen?
Oh yeah.
Something Heartbleed or whatever.
Ghost,
Yeah, the 0-day things or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so-
they were a big deal a couple years ago. I remember.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
It just
yeah,
it's
this was
it's
bad
crazy
news.
to me that a company can just push an update to production servers
So-
for anyone that's using their service and just be like, we pushed an update, deal with it.
Yeah,
And it's like,
somebody
what?
online.
You know,
I've
dude,
been
if-
following a ton of things on this online, and I
So have
can't
I.
believe that got passed because somebody was saying they're talking about CrowdStrikes because they're so embedded with infrastructure. They are a 127.0.0.1 something C. There's some sort of thing that makes them more accountable. And in order to push updates, specifically application, not the patch ones, they have to be audited by an independent auditor that said this went through sandbox, this went through staging, that this
right. How do you
cannot
miss
get
all of that?
this patch went through none of that. None of the
none of the
auditing,
validations.
none of the validations. Had they, it would have
Of course.
This
Right.
affects 100% of Windows machines. Not like, oh, if you're running this patch or this patch.
No.
100%, it kills your Windows machine.
The only thing it didn't affect was Windows machines that happened to be like turned off during
Yeah.
the update or sleeping.
Yep.
That didn't receive the update.
If it
Well,
didn't,
you know what? Actually, you know what version of Windows it didn't affect? Windows 3.1.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's what Southwest Airlines is still using.
dude,
for
the
their
memes,
production
the
system.
memes, the
So
memes right
good.
now of Southwest being like, oh yeah, I bet you on a Southwest flight now.
And they're not alone. The article I saw, there were several big companies
Yeah.
still using Windows 3.1. That is an operating system that is over 30 years old.
Yeah, crazy.
Wild.
And they're getting, by the way, they're paying through the nose
yeah,
to
for
receive
continued
security
updates.
security updates from Microsoft. I mean, like to the tune of millions and millions.
Oh, I'm
of dollars.
sure.
For sure. Because Microsoft has to have a dedicated team that still works on Windows 3.1.
Yep.
to patch those security vulnerabilities.
It must be lucrative enough.
Yeah.
So Lando, I'm curious, what in the end, what'd you do? Did you follow the reboot method 15 times like Microsoft said?
On Friday morning, there was we didn't see much success with that method. Friday morning, we were first trying to gain admin access to computers to actually delete there. So there's a special file you could delete
But the
deep
computer
down in
has
the
to stay
depth
up
darks
long
of the
enough.
directory.
You can get it in safe mode. You can get it in safe mode.
Safe
Oh, you
mode.
can't
It doesn't
get into
load the
safe-
CrowdStrike kernel.
Okay.
The problem we had with that is
You got to be at the PC.
you had to have admin access to the endpoint
Yeah.
to delete the file and to get into that
Yeah.
folder. And so the first ones I was trying to fix, I didn't have that access.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So we actually created a PE boot drive
Yep.
to boot into Windows and then mounted the C drive and fixed the problem. It was literally
Microsoft is
this file.
literally
It was
sending
awful.
those out to people right now still.
Yeah,
if
they-
you are
Yeah.
affected, you can contact Microsoft support and they will ship you a USB drive with Windows PE built
You can
in.
make your own.
Or you can make
so
your own.
You can
with
make
the-
your own
with the
easily,
ISO
right.
to
So-
get it.
There's a lot of people that
Friday-
don't know how to do that.
Friday we
true.
spent. I literally spent. So I got on the team that was doing all. So we work for a university, right? We have smart classrooms. Every classroom has a computer in it. Windows, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the team that I was going to every single classroom on campus, fixing all these computers.
Oh my
Yep.
God.
And that was the
At
PE
ter-
boot.
at the mhm. At the
Type in
terminal.
the command manually delete the file, and that was working. I went through, me and my team, we did almost every classroom on campus that day. Come Monday, we had to do the same thing again because all of these rooms have a secondary computer. It's called an Intel Nook computer.
Yep.
Oh.
Mhm.
Headless, mind you, Tony. So no monitor, no mouse, no
Yeah.
keyboard.
Oh,
Its
no.
whole job is just to record. You send schedules to it, and it records the classroom.
That's all it does.
Did
Yeah.
you guys just forget about that one the first time around, basically?
No,
or-
it was deemed as not it's not a priority because you
Oh.
don't need it to hold classes.
I
It's
see,
not
I
tied
see.
to student
Oh,
success.
so it wasn't critical.
It wasn't critical. So
Yep,
we came back around Monday to do all those. And by that time, we were using the Microsoft USB. So the
Were you just
Microsoft USB, you plug in, get
You
it
don't have
hooked
to do
the
anything,
USB,
right?
You have to press enter twice.
Okay.
Is all you'd
yeah.
have to do.
Nice.
So you can do headless things like that without having to tote around a monitor.
I still tilted around a monitor because there's no
Yeah.
other way to do
Just
it.
in case,
Right.
yeah.
And a keyboard, right?
I set up 4 or
And a
5 crash
keyboard.
carts. Yeah.
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 Keyboard monitor is all you needed. But
So-
still, it was
So here's the deal. In the aftermath, there's so much finger pointing already starting, right? Like, oh, who done it? There's somebody at CrowdStrike or some buddies are going to get fired. I mean, or haven't, if they haven't already. And the reason is that this kind of shows that like all these auditing and check marks and like this is how we push updates, those are really good on paper for
If they're not followed
and
through
they're
on, though.
exactly and they're and
What does it matter?
99.99% of the time you're fine as an admin and you're like, well, that was fine. But like that's why these exist.
Yep.
Because so Microsoft comes out and says, I mean, it only affected 1% of our
not this
computers. You know how much 1% is though?
1% of-
8.5 million
Yeah.
computers were
I was gonna
affected
say.
by this, having to have somebody at the console deleting this file.
Yeah, it was meant. Yeah. So it's funny, UVU, we just had a security audit. The higher ed institutions all audit each other for security patches. And we just went through a big push earlier this year to get CrowdStrike on every single Windows machine to make sure we were compliant.
We almost went with CrowdStrike for sure.
Now, to be fair, CrowdStrike is a fantastic product. Like, it's really a good product.
Dude, it's got enough levers that you'll never run out of levers to pull. Like that's one of the things about CrowdStrike is you can tweak that thing in so many different ways. We almost went with it. Their price was our determining factor. We went with SentinelOne at my last company. But I fully wanted to go with CrowdStrike just because of what it could do, its capabilities.
It's
It's
so
one of the
good.
best.
The problem now, though, is they have a huge pall cast on their company.
Yeah. People are
Yeah.
like, but they're coming back because like
I'm
nobody
sure-
can
I'm
do what
sure
they do in
will.
the.
I'm sure they will.
So
but
everybody's
right
like,
now,
buy the dip.
They lost a lot of people's trust at this point
Yeah.
because this wasn't bad code or like
This was bad
forgotten,
process.
You know, this was human error, straight up
for sure.
employee error.
Yep. This,
So,
and,
Tony, you're-
and you wonder
yeah,
how
you're
high
not-
it goes, right? Like who approved it at what level? Because it wasn't it most likely, unless it was some engineer that was like, I'm going out of town. I don't want to deal with this I got to push this. I said I'd do it on Monday and I didn't do it, but I'm going to do it now. Like, I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, you're not wrong, Tony, but I think it's the cybersecurity insurance companies. Like, we don't have a choice. That's the one we go with because it just makes that so easy.
Right. I mean, their stock took a beating, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But in the
People
reality,
are buying it, people are buying it like crazy.
It'll bounce back.
It'll bounce back.
And just the thing that I hope comes out of this is they put a lot more visibility.
I hope that they see it as
on their processes and stuff like that, where it's like, this cannot happen again. Absolutely cannot happen again.
Not only can it like you can't just say, "Hey, that's a strike one. This can't ever happen again." They need to make ways. There needs to be some mitigating effort towards this, not just like a, "Hey, don't do that again. That was wrong."
We're talking new processes.
There need to be a process change, and the government they're pulling the CEO in for a Senate hearing.
Yep.
To see what went wrong, because it cost the global economy. Some people are saying in the billions of dollars.
I'm sure.
For sure.
In downtime and costs getting everything back up.
There's still people who still can't fly on Delta.
So Microsoft took this moment to throw a little shade. They got stung back in 2009 when they wanted to put the specific browsers in Windows. But the anti-competitive laws in the EU made them so that they had to allow kernel access and stuff, like this type of access to software. And so Microsoft goes, we could have helped. At least in the EU, we could have helped, but the EU, they blocked us. They made it so that we couldn't do anything to stop this type of kernel access, So Microsoft is throwing a little shade at the EU and their red tape and their stuff.
The good news is, today's Tuesday, July 23rd, as of this recording, CrowdStrike did release a fix for this, and we're to the point now where 2 reboots fix the issue.
Yeah.
Over the air fix.
Yeah, so if you don't understand how they were saying reboot 15 times because there was a chance in one of those that the kernel would stabilize just long enough to pull down the new .sys file or to delete it, and so that was a method for a while. I mean, if you got on sysadmin on Reddit, the r/sysadmin, it was going insane with people just anything and everything. This worked for me. This worked. It was really cool to see the community come together that way, but it was also just insane to watch it happen. My company was affected, but I'm kind of new to this new company, and so I'm not really involved in the server ops side of it. And so I'm like, I think they're having a problem, but I think they got it resolved. So, but some people online are starting to say, is this some sort of conspiracy because there's no way she gets through? And then, there's one guy, I tried to find anybody that's like, okay, who thinks this is Microsoft's fault? And because a lot of people are blaming Microsoft, the main reason for that is because they want to have some of their Azure money refunded to them, get a little bit of the SLA money. But I found one guy. There's one guy that's like, no, this from Sevco Security, whoever that is, and he blames Microsoft. So it must be true. I found one Google's result.
One guy.
One guy.
What you think, so it must be true.
The last thing I want to say is this. Tony said this is a once-generation outage. This has actually happened to at least UVU once before. Back in 2005, we used McAfee as our cybersecurity solution.
The first problem.
And there was a. I remember a day. I was part-time at the time. Something very similar to this happened. We had to go touch every single computer because our McAfee caused a problem.
Oh,
so
and back then there was no virtual.
It wasn't as big as this. Sure,
I was going to say it wasn't as big as this. This is the biggest.
This is huge for sure.
This is what people was afraid was going to happen. Y2K. This is the level of craziness that people were expecting as the clock turned over from 1999 to 2000.
Everybody thought this was some kind of fire sale, some hacker attack. The worst outage in the history of outages ever, period, ever, was human error.
Human error.
Not even a hack or an
Yep.
attack or anything. Human error. Now, this was similar to what happened to SolarWinds, but that was an attack. That was a
SolarWinds
supply
was an
chain
attack. Yep.
supply chain hack, right? Where they
Yep,
got
yep.
SolarWinds to start sending down patches. And SolarWinds also
Compromised
a
patches.
very widely used infrastructure tool.
Yep.
So close, but this one was much
This one
bigger
was
than
definitely bigger by
that. So,
orders of magnitude.
yep, crazy.
Yep.
There
All
you go.
right.
CrowdStrike.
We got a couple of short stories we can go through real quick. Now we got to hear about what's going on in Florida because that Florida man is always up to something.
He's gonna screw up everything. So I searched high and low, but the footage of this has been deleted from the internet, as has been told. So down in Florida, Blue Angels were doing a air show, and some Florida buffoon decided to take his drone and fly above
Oh no.
the passing Blue Angels.
Jeez.
In the show notes, if you get the chance, I actually have a video of someone doing that in Detroit. It's happened once before. So the story is that it was hard to catch, but they catch it, and it's kind of amazing that they did catch that. But problem is that now they're going to look into this, and it just causes so many red flags and rules.
Everybody had to see, we knew drones were bad.
Yep.
One guy.
Two, actually, there was
Oh,
two pilots at this particular one in Pensacola, Florida, I believe it was. And they talk about it, and they just
Same thing
I'm
kind of happened with
furious.
national parks, right? The same thing that
Little bit,
national
yeah.
parks was kind of the same, where you could take drones in until some people started breaking stuff and
Losing them into the hot
or-
pots.
losing them
Yeah.
and probably interfering with wildlife and
Yep, all
habitats.
that.
Oh,
Yes.
in other surprising news, if you guys haven't seen the biscuit cutter geyser explosion or biscuit whatever,
In Yellowstone?
Yellowstone. Have
I
you
saw
seen
that. That was crazy.
Oh my gosh, guys! You think Yellowstone is calm, tame, cute little geysers, and if they're not, then you have to stand back. But there's this one calm, beautiful blue pool, and all of a sudden it just shows it blowing probably 50, 60 feet in the air, rocks,
wow.
debris, people are running everywhere. I mean, the boardwalk for this comes right up to the freaking pool.
Oh my god.
Just go watch the video. Sorry, speaking of Yellowstone.
That's
wild.
yeah, Yellowstone in Florida. I really like that segue. So, so yeah, it was just something that came up on Drone News that this isn't the first time, and it seems to some idiot that doesn't like to respect the rules, the different airspaces, things like that, because drones aren't supposed to go above 400 feet, but a lot of the systems, they prevent you from flying in certain areas. For example, for those of you that are doing it, who has a DJI on this panel, by the way? Does anybody?
I got a Mini
Tony?
2. Yeah.
Does yours do the same thing where it's like you are in a restricted area?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, if you pull up on certain drones that have radio frequencies, they'll give a red flag banner across your monitor saying you're flying in a restricted zone. You shouldn't be doing this.
Hey, that's neat. So if you go above a certain airspace.
Oh, not just above, just anywhere within, like, for example.
Oh,
an
okay.
airport,
Like the
within
like the
5
White
mile
House. It's
radius.
like, oh, you are in a
Uh-huh.
locked down airspace.
Exactly.
So don't be idiots, people. So we
No.
can don't
So
get
do you
more and more
think?
restrictions.
But do you think is it DeSantis down there? Who's the governor of Florida? Do you think
DeSantis. Yeah.
He's
you think
still-
you think he's gonna do anything? Like, do you think he
You
knows
won't,
what a
but
drone
this
is?
This is FFA.
Oh, the
This is
FAA.
federal. This is federal.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So does the air show get locked down? That airspace gets closed by
they
the
can.
FAA
Like the
for
Blue
the
Angels,
thing?
yeah, they say, "Oh, there's something suspicious," and they're like, "Okay."
I bet the FAA is just like, it's Florida, man. It's really good publicity for them. They
I
really
bet
don't have a
they're-
lot else.
I bet they're not because they don't want to endanger the lives of their pilots.
Yeah.
especially those Blue Angels. I still can't believe they do spot it, and they,
Dude.
I think in the video, I can't remember if it says
When
it,
I
but,
watch the welded wing formations come through and they're literally inches off each other's
it's
wings,
insanity.
that's insanity to me.
because one of them that flies with him is always the camera one, and he's in the video in the show notes. He spots the drone, and the drone that's filming it, idiot. He just like, oh, look at them, they're flying by me. Don't fly your drone. Don't fly your drone in
douche
stadiums, air shows.
Did they catch
fireworks.
so they caught the guy?
They caught that guy, yeah, this recent one in Pensacola,
Yeah.
both of them, because they were putting the footage up when it's like,
Idiot. They're like, we took the risk to get this.
yeah.
The other thing is,
on, the internet
I think we've
points.
talked about this before, how they can take it down with a bunch of, there's new tools to interrupt
Yeah.
the frequency, cause it to go into land mode, and then they can
Yep.
just pull it off and
Yeah.
get the,
That's what the
because you have to
sporting
register
events-
them all now, right?
Yes.
You have to
you
register
do.
your drone now, so
That you do. So
don't be an idiot.
Don't
Yep.
be an idiot, please.
That's right. Okay. Let's see. A lightning round story from me. I'm gonna go with some really cool long-term storage that Microsoft is investing in. We might have talked about this a little bit in the past. I think a year or two ago, but Microsoft is working on something they call Project Silica, and it is basically using glass
Yeah.
to etch data into it with a laser.
That's cool.
Quartz discs, I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, and it uses these lasers to basically permanently etch the data into these crystal slats, these quartz slats, and the data should be solid for 10,000 years.
Yeah, right. Like no,
Retrievable for 10,000 years.
that's crazy.
Well,
I
they've-
feel like that Library of Congress needs to go on there. You know.
Yeah,
like-
that's the kind
and
of
that
thing.
and as humongous as the Library of Congress is, it doesn't even fill like one disc.
Oh,
Like,
no,
these
no,
things
no.
are-
See, they've stopped pushing towards capacity.
Capacity. Oh,
That's
okay.
what this article's about. Is they pushed for capacity density,
Yeah.
and then Azure cloud service, also Microsoft, said, "Hey, how about you shift this towards helping us right now?" And so the team hit 4 and 7 terabyte densities per disk, but then Azure says we want to use that to do, long-term cold storage kind of
Of
thing
what?
for our servers, our data on our servers.
And it can't be rewritten.
No, it can't be rewritten.
So what? I guess if you want to archive everything, but what are you archiving that you need to save
So-
for 10,000 years?
So what they're using it for right here apparently is incorporating advanced AI and deep learning technologies into the data.
Track things over time, I guess.
I guess, yeah. They're
Yeah.
not super clear because, it's one of their secret projects or whatever, or things that they're not ready to talk about too much yet. But the other cool thing about this is there's a picture of it you can see on the article. There is a picture of the crab robots. On
This is my
rails
favorite part of the story is that
that just run along the
Yeah.
edge
Nice.
and grab the disk that it needs the data from and then take it back to the
Yeah.
machine so it can be read or added to. And it's
that's
these
like
little crab
one of
robots.
the aspects of this they say is the use of battery powered robotic crabs, and I'm like,
Yep.
I'm in. I'll read this whole thing, all
Very
all
cool.
all the paragraphs.
So there you go. Just a little update there on Project Silica. It's still looking pretty freaking cool.
We I remember we talked about it being like the Superman crystals,
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
exactly.
infinite
yeah.
data.
So
So they gave up on density, but moved towards quality or quantity.
yeah, whatever Azure needs them to do with it, that's what they're working towards.
Yeah, they're like
Sounds
Azure's like, we'll bankroll it for. Oh, okay. Well, then
exactly.
okay.
It sounds like Microsoft was like, "Can we make any money with this right now?" Azure's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, we could use that." Okay, you work for Azure now.
you work for Azure now.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right, and then last but not least, we'll wrap up on this. I want to. Can you succinctly review your NAS?
I think it's got it. I think, in fact, if we hold it till next week,
Should we save it? Okay.
I'll have
Save
a
it.
better
Okay.
better picture because I want to talk about how I'm doing the backblaze backup
All
too.
right. Cool.
So,
Sounds good. All right then. How about Barrier? Is that a short one?
Barrier's a short one. Do you guys remember Mouse Without Borders?
Yeah.
And it went like enterprise, and anyway, Mouse Without Borders was a little bit janky, and Synology, which was bought by Microsoft, was kind of a competitor. But if you don't know what it is, it's a software-based KVM. So I have in my computer office right here, I've got my gaming computer, I've got my personal gaming laptop, that I use kind of interchangeably. And now with my new job, I've got this other laptop, and I was like, I hate having like a keyboard and a mouse for like 3 different things, like switching them around. So I got this ProtoArc trackball mouse, and I was really excited because it actually has 3 Bluetooth channels.
Oh,
and
nice.
I was like, oh,
Switch it off.
I can just switch between the two. And then I was like, well, what about the keyboard? So I started looking at these virtual things, and I remembered Mouse Without Borders. I was like, yeah, that was always janky because it uses network. You install a host where everything is actually physically plugged in, and then you install the clients on, and you get a little blue screen. You can put your monitors wherever you want, and it drags over. Upon stumbling through the sysadmin Reddit channel, I found this fork of Mouse Without Borders called Barrier. And I'm going to tell you what, this has been the answer to my problems. It is smooth. There's no lag or whatever. Sometimes I can't even tell when I'm working on a different computer, because I'll be like working here, and then something will happen on my work computer, and I'll slide over there and do whatever I need on that one. And then I slide back, and I'm working from my home computer. I don't have 3 screens, so I usually don't have my gaming laptop set up when I do, but the same thing when I want to game. When I'm waiting between Halo matches or whatever, I'll browse Reddit or look on Amazon for weird crap.
On the other computer.
On my home computer, on my personal laptop, and then when the match starts, I just flip over there, and I can just play or do whatever. It's so cool. It's called Barrier. I've got the link here in the show notes, and you can check out the README. It was super easy to install and get set up. You just do the client on both sides. There was some stuff. One gotcha that I had to look up. It wants to do SSL encryption between the 2 hosts, and that didn't work. I turned that off, and it started working. So if you get there, if you want to figure that out, you can. I believe it has to do with messing with the Windows firewall to allow the ports for SSL. But I just turned it off because I'm inside my local network, and it doesn't bother me. Not like I'm on a public Wi-Fi or something where it would be a problem. So,
Supports Windows 7 through 11, Mac OSs,
Mac OS and Linux,
FreeBSD, OpenBSD, a lot of
all the OSs, all the
big
major
stuff.
ones.
Yeah, all the big stuff.
I was surprised because you don't usually get a lot of support for Mac OS and Windows OS in the same application. So, especially one that's being kept up by a bunch of enterprising people on GitHub, for free. So
nice.
Check it out, Barrier. It's called Barrier. You can get it on GitHub. They have the installs already packaged up, and it's super easy, and it works
Very
awesome.
Cool. All right, I believe we have reached the end of the episode, and without Jaren, we haven't got anyone reading the Patreon.
Uh-oh.
Well, let me act as Jaron for just a minute, but not for the Patreons. This episode went too long. I can't believe we let Owen talk so long.
It's like he's here.
Yeah. Did that sound just like him? And you know what?
Just
and you know what?
like
and you
him.
know what, Jaron? And you know what? While Tony's pulling that up, it was not cool to take advantage of my ADHD and make me repeat myself and go into an ADHD loop 3 or 4 times, I might add, as I listened to that episode.
A lot of the
Obsessively.
time, you don't even have to try to get him to repeat himself. He just does it
I'll just do it on my own. You don't gotta stimulate it. I'll do it. I'll do it for free.
Gosh.
I think about that episode a lot, and now I just listen to myself talk. Do you have it yet, though? Because I'm starting to feel like I'm doing it right now.
Are you doing it right now?
No, I'm not. Well, what I was saying is that Jaron doesn't need to trigger me. I'll do it. I'll do it on my own. I just as I'm waiting for you to get a Patreon.
Chase that tail.
Yeah,
You'll get there,
'Cause, like-
or Owen. Get
yeah,
there.
because like ADHD makes me
Look at
just
him,
go into these
vamp.
loops. Like going into this again.
Are you going
I do.
into another loop?
Yeah, will you hurry? It's embarrassing.
You have it, Tony?
I think I have it. Okay, here we go.
What are the benefits of being a Patreon backer, Owen?
You don't want to get me in that loop.
Lando, give us the benefits.
So Patreon backers are awesome. If you just $1 a month, that's it. If you give us $1 a month, you get to be a member of our super secret Discord channel for Patreon onlys. You get the episodes early with a bonus episode, mind you. You get both episodes, and the in-between all is one podcast episode a day early before everyone else. You get to hear us in your ear holes first, and it's awesome. If you
Very-
donate $6 or more,
Oh.
you get the additional benefit of being
Still going.
read on the air. Tony's
Nice.
going to do that right
He
now.
hasn't,
I
he hasn't
found
looped
it.
yet. He
I
hasn't
found
looped
it.
yet.
I have not
All
looped.
right.
I
Unless
thought about
I'm-
looping.
Unless I'm mistaken, these are the current Patreon
You're
backers.
probably mistaken.
at
I've screwed
the-
this up so many times.
At $6 a month or more. The super special above $6 a month guys. Shout out first Aaron Faulkner, Connor Kisa, and Wiffle Ball Tony. Thank you so much. And then we got Archie the Archivist, Be the 8-Year-Old, Jason Eatman, Magnets. How do they work? Mischones. Scroll down here. Adam Hecht, Eric
Scroll
Cruz,
down here.
Eric Steinman, Harry Patch, Jeremy, Keslow, Matt Nelson, Michael Shane, No Name No Color, Ryan M, Stuart Lloyd, the in-between rating -5.
Oh no.
What?
Uh,
Unacceptable.
the problem with society is there are no mole hills that can't be mountain climbed over.
You nailed that.
Thank
Good
you.
job,
thank you.
Tony.
Tony the Home Theater Geek and Wesley.
Wesley's our new one. Welcome, Wesley.
Welcome, Wesley.
Yeah.
He's as of 3 days ago.
Nice.
His big brain Owen from the past made a Zapier that connects our Patreon to our Slack channel.
Bum, ba-da-ba.
Good job, Owen.
All right. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode. Lang, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
And we will see all y'alls in the Geek Show Arcade, or if you want to skip that for some reason, don't skip it. But we'll be here. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't think we'll be on next week. Too many people are going to be out of town from the panel. And so I think we're having a bye week next week. So keep that in mind. If something does show up, then hooray, happy day, lucky you. But most likely we'll be having a bye week next week. But until the week after, or Arcade in 2 days, we'll see you later. Lando, take us out.
You know, things seem to go better without a Jaren around. Be an end user.
Oh, man.
Just kidding, Jaren. We love you.
We love you, Jared.
Oh, wait, I forgot to turn the music on.
Jaren.
Nope. You got to do it in post now.
I have to do it in post.
Oh, he gave you some
It's
more
too
work,
late now, you
Tony.
screwed it up. Oh no! Anything in between. Not yet. We're still playing the music.
He can add dead space.
Things go better without a Jaren around. Be an end user. Don't use CrowdStrike. We love Jaren.